name is Christine Malpica. I am a settler here in Nadakina, these Pawtucket Pennacook homelands, today called Newburyport. As a community organizer, director of Imagine Studios, and public historian, I strive to be a legitimate neighbor, an ally to Native peoples who have inhabited here for at least 13,000 years. Well, today our country and world grapple with many changes and challenges on the horizon, and our democracy is fraught with denial, division, and dysfunction. I am grateful to live in a community which is not going back, but looking forward to a brighter future. Hope. And all of you here today represent that hope. You are change makers for the future, especially these kids over there. I'm honored to welcome 2, 3, at least, of our Native representatives of this area. Chickie Red Dawn Dobson over here, the heart and soul of our Native community in Greater Newburyport, who does so much. Her whole life is dedicated to service, and I applaud her for all she does. And we are so blessed to welcome Larry Spotted Crowman of the Nipmuc Hassanimisco. And in a moment he is going to come up here and give us a welcome song, an honor song. And also to Todd Warfield, who is of Pennacook, Abenaki descent, the peoples that were right from here. So I would love to welcome Larry up first to share a song. Larry is a tribal citizen. He's an award-winning playwright, poet, cultural educator, traditional storyteller, tribal drummer, dancer, motivational speaker, consultant, and he is the director of the Okateo Cultural Center and founder of the Native Youth Empowerment Foundation. He was featured in PBS documentaries, Native American films, We Shall Remain. He has also worked in the field of human services and mental health for over a decade, helping at-risk youth. He has worked with tribal, federal, and state agencies to preserve land and wildlife, notably Atlantic salmon. He has also worked with the Massachusetts Department of Public Health to create a booklet as a resource for the prevention of teen drug abuse. He has recently published a children's book, The Adventures of Kateo. We have a few copies here today, and a curriculum using Indigenous storytelling to promote social development. Please welcome Larry.
Thank you. I'm going to turn this way a little bit. Mr. Sun is kind of... it's good to be here today. Thank you, Christine, for that introduction. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to the town of Newburyport for acknowledging and recognizing and doing that tough work of uplifting Indigenous people's voices, cultures, and ways and lifeways. As you mentioned, we have our work cut out for you, but as I'm reminded from a mentor yesterday about the Great Spirit, or whatever y'all believe in, higher power, has put all of us here at this time, in this place, because they knew we could do this work. They knew we were the ones to carry on that voice, that message of healing and unity. And I believe that is the impetus, that is the strength that keeps me going, and understands that now more than ever, it's a reminder of the work that we have ahead of us. Again, I'm Larry Spotted Crow. Nipmuc people are from this land. We used all the riverways of the 5 major rivers of our homelands, includes the Merrimack River, which flows right out here to the ocean. So it's an honor to be here and share with you all today. And I'll open up with some words and I'll share an honor song. We say, "Wu nashana tumo manatu, kabatni, wutu chikinison, okumis, kabatni wuchi sabasu, wasukati ehuna, nota astin woman antium, king nuta yupan tamino, and the mayo nina woman quantum kichia. Ka mata wananta, ka naguti kukuta minowan, manatu, wasukati ehuna, womaneta dio, ka nosokomuso amoke, ninaho kinkantu chokesich, yayo, kabatni manatu ni wuchi, wanegugish. About me to Niwaji, Newburyport. I greet you all in the words of peace and reciprocity. And I said the best translation I can give is that I ask that we all share our spirit together, we share our learning together, we bring all of our relatives here, and we all come together. And I ask that all the people here in Newburyport would welcome that voice and bring us all together. So with that, let me share welcome song. Thank you. I gotta say, I got a little smile as the wind blew. I smelled that salt-scented wind. I've been living inland too long. That was good. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Honored to have you here. And I'd like to now introduce our next speaker, Todd Warfield. And Todd comes from New Hampshire, from Rochester, New Hampshire. He works for the Black Heritage Trails of New Hampshire. He's a Sankofa scholar and Indigenous rights advocate, and a passionate storyteller. He shares local Indigenous and Black histories. He's also a certified herbalist, working with medicine plants for 30 years, and also a staff member at Rolling Ridge Retreat and Conference Center as their naturalist consultant. Please welcome Todd.
Hello, my friends. I'm honored to be here to bring awareness to Native American Heritage Month here in Newburyport. I appreciate the city for their journey to create the Indigenous people's place along the waterfront. I am constantly reminded by my ancestors that we are still here, and I am grateful for their wisdom, stories, and guidance. Despite overwhelming odds, our resistance and resilience continues. I challenge us to remember that we are remembered as Indigenous people beyond just November. What happened this week with the election cycle is nothing new for Indigenous people, as we've been disappointed numerous times by the government and the people in power. Some tribes got token visits this cycle, and disturbances were quickly and swiftly dealt with. Remember that we are not merely tokens, but a community that desires to self-govern. May we find ways beyond November to advance and advocate for the future of Indigenous peoples in the region. Aho. I'd like to offer this land acknowledgement. Before the earth beneath our feet was called Newburyport, before there was a Commonwealth of Massachusetts, before there was a Plum Island, Water Street, and Parker River, Generations of Pennacook and Agawam people, Algonquin-speaking tribes in the Wabanaki Confederacy belong to this land and considered it their home. Today we give thanks for their care and stewardship of this land. We acknowledge that we are on unceded traditional homelands of the Pennacook and Agawam and Wabanaki peoples, past and present. We acknowledge with gratitude the Aki, which is the land, Nibi, the water, Alawakikak, flora, Awasak, the fauna, and the Anambak, the people, who have stewarded Ndakana for many millennia. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd and Larry. I am joined by many people here today who are working to erase what my colleague Roger Paul Passamaquoddy calls the twistery of this region's indigenous past and presence, which has been long silenced, misrepresented, and largely forgotten. This includes the impacts of colonization, the loss of homelands, ecological devastation, removal of children from their homes to schools and foster care, and other forms of cultural genocide, which continue to cause harm and intergenerational trauma. While we can't change the past, we can take responsibility to learn and unlearn, stand for truth and justice together today, heal, repair, and move forward to co-create a more equitable, reciprocal relationship. Today's commemoration is part of an ongoing community effort to build bridges, to forge a better future together, recognizing the struggles and also the survival and resilience of Indigenous peoples who are here today and have endured much and continue to enrich our communities with their cultures, creativity, and knowledge. We also want to acknowledge organizations, including the Mass Center for Native American Awareness, who also helped sponsor our Indigenous Peoples Day event. We want to thank everyone who is here for Indigenous Peoples Day, and to Mayor Reardon and city representatives who are supporting this for the 4th year now. According to the Mass Center for Native American Awareness, Native American Heritage Month is a time to celebrate the rich and diverse cultures, traditions, and histories, and to acknowledge the important contributions of Native people. It's also an opportunity to raise awareness about the unique challenges Native people have faced, historically and in the present, and the ways that Native people have worked to conquer those challenges. We encourage you to learn more and support the work of the Okateo Cultural Center, Larry's Center, the Mass Center for Native American Awareness, and others. I also want to acknowledge the work being done nationally and statewide on issues impacting Native people today, including the Massachusetts legislative agenda. We're honored to have city and state representatives here. Ed Cameron from the City Council, and Senator Bruce Tarr is here with us today, as well as Representative Don Shand. And they're working across the aisle to make lasting change. We applaud them. We also want to recognize the grassroots work that's been done in our community by organizers and students to change Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day. Thanks to some of these students right here from the River Valley Charter School and their teachers, Lynn Taylor and others, who wrote letters, and that helped change the holiday that we now celebrate, Indigenous Peoples Day today. These young people are the hope for our future. They are the future citizens and change makers, so we're so glad they're here with us today. We also recognize and spotlight the efforts being made by our city here. We want to thank James Russell from the Custom House Maritime Museum for his support of Indigenous Peoples Day and the first ever exhibit to include Native people in our city. That's a milestone. We want to thank Mayor Reardon and Special Projects Manager Jordy Vining for all of their work to make this city a more diverse and brighter place. We acknowledge their commitment. Yes, please. You see some of these interpretive signs here for the Black History Trail. Jordy is largely responsible for that, and many other great efforts here to acknowledge history and contemporary peoples. We want to acknowledge the commitment of the city to establish an Indigenous Peoples Place, an interpretive site at the city's waterfront, which will be a public gathering place for learning and sharing and connecting across cultures. Mayor Reardon is opening a fund at the Newburyport Bank to raise much needed revenue for this space. So please let us know if you can support this important work. We look forward to our city's progress on this site, honoring our Indigenous history and future by partnering with intertribal cultural bearers such as those here today to co-create this commemorative site, which will be a regional milestone and model for a new generation of cross-cultural collaboration in the 21st century. So thank you very much for the leaders here today and their efforts to recognize Native peoples, past and present. We want to also recognize the work being done on the statewide level to change our state seal. I don't know if we have a flag flying. I don't know if everyone is familiar with our state seal and motto, which was created, the seal itself was created in the 1800s, and it remains unchanged. It's seen as a symbol of violence against Native peoples. However, our city, as well as the state, voted in the last few years to change this offensive symbol, and in the next year, you will see a new flag and a new symbol flying above the State House. That's progress. We'd like to welcome Senator Bruce Tarr. I'm looking for him. There he is, sorry. The sun's right in my eyes there. I want to applaud Senator Tarr for his efforts on this. He cast one of the deciding votes across the aisle, I might mention. So please welcome Senator Tarr.
Well, thank you very much and good morning. And what an honor it is to be with all of you on this incredibly beautiful fall day. And a day when we think about so many of the blessings in our lives, and a day when here at Newburyport City Hall, with the raising of the flag, we think about the inclusion that has always been a part of our culture and continues to need to be a part of our culture, and to think about the debt of gratitude we owe, particularly of the Native Americans who came before all of us did here in this country, and to remember the contributions that they made, the appreciation they had, and the stewardship they had of our natural resources, which we think about this morning. I do particularly want to thank Mayor Reardon for gathering us together here this morning at City Hall, and my colleague, Representative Don Shand, as we work together in the legislature to promote inclusion and diversity and equity, because that is an essential part of who we are in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. But today, we think about those special contributions that have been made by our Native Americans, and we think about the fact that while we have made progress, and while on days like this, when the flag gets raised and we think about the very inclusive nature of our government here in Newburyport, we still have a long way to go. And we have an obligation as good neighbors and good citizens to do our part to advance inclusion and respect and honor for those who are very much part of our history, our legacy, and today, as we raise this flag, we think about how very much they're a part of our future. So thank you all very much, and it's an honor to be here with all of you, and I hope that we can continue to work together toward the goals that we share. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Tarr, for your work and your words. And now I'd like to welcome Representative of the 1st Essex District, Don Shand.
Thank you so much for allowing me to say a few words today. Events like this remind me that the source of our community's pride is that we are able to revisit our histories and we are not afraid to write new stories. The 1st Essex celebrates Indigenous Peoples Day. It has the most innovative Black History Trail. It has a community iftar. And those are things I think that we should be enormously proud of today. I want to say just a few words, particularly since we have so many kids here, about Amesbury and the Indian mascot. In 2016, the school committee voted to keep that mascot. And 5 years later, high school students, Sam Cadwell and Maisha Acevedo, led their students and led the effort to ask the schools to remove that mascot. And they were successful. But it also came at a price. I know personally that adults in their life were quite angry and cut ties with them. And on a day when people may not be feeling very hopeful about the future, I just hope that we can keep all of these kids close to us and in our hearts, and remember that change can often be quite difficult. Christine, thank you so much for bringing us together today. Thank you, Larry Spotted Man Crow, and all of the Indigenous leaders who are here to remind us of the great strength of this nation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Representative Shand, for all your work and for being here today. We're honored. We also want to welcome the River Valley Charter School students and their teacher, Lynn Taylor, teacher extraordinaire, who's done much change making, a dear friend as well, to say a few words.
Hello and greetings. It is an honor for my class and me to be here today to witness the raising of this flag to commemorate Native American Heritage Month. I, for one, am incredibly grateful to live in a city that took seriously the handwritten letters of a few second and third grade students who petitioned then Mayor Donna Holliday to officially change the name of Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day. This did not happen immediately, but within 2 years, other groups took up the cause and the name was officially changed. A small but symbolically meaningful step in addressing the egregious wrongs Native Americans have suffered and continue to suffer at the hands of European colonizers and their descendants. In November of 2021, my class and I were invited here to witness the first flag-raising ceremony, and since then, students from River Valley Charter have participated in the annual Indigenous Peoples Day events. It is truly an honor to share in the acknowledging and honoring of the Pawtucket, Pennacook, Abenaki, and related peoples who were and still are the original inhabitants of this land, where we are now standing, where we live, work, and have our homes. I would like to thank Mayor Reardon and other city and state officials for helping Newburyport to be on the leading edge of acknowledging Indigenous presence and history in our state. My class recently visited the Custom House Museum for a tour led by Christine, where they learned about and saw firsthand the artifacts of the Paleo Indians and the Pennacook Pawtucket who inhabited the Merrimack River Valley for at least 13,000 years. We, citizens of Newburyport, are extremely fortunate to live in a city that does not shy away from taking the lead in progressive measures for social justice, while shining a light on uncomfortable truths. Last year, Jordy Vining took my students on a Black History walk to look at the historical signage, acknowledging the contributions of African Americans to our city. I look forward to bringing my students to the Indigenous Peoples Place, slated to be created on our beautiful waterfront. The grateful citizens of Newburyport thank you, Mayor Reardon, for supporting this effort in a respectful partnership with our region's Indigenous peoples and nations, which have survived and remain in our region today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lynn. We want to also welcome Eileen Maconi's class here today of high school students. They're part of the Global Citizenship Program, and I believe one of the students, Shailene, Soleil, please come up and join us. She's going to say a few words. Welcome, Soleil.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Soleil Berg, and I'm a student at Newburyport High School. Today, I'm here along with 7 of my peers, and along with my teacher, Ms. McConey, and we're part of a new course at Newburyport High School called the Global Citizenship Program. We just want to thank Christine and Dr. Pika for imagining
about what you guys are doing and to have you be part of today and Indigenous Peoples Day as well. Let's see, did I miss anybody that wanted to speak? Raise your hand if I did miss anybody. Chip, would you like to say anything at all? So Chickie does a lot of work with local veterans groups. I just want to, before she speaks, also note that the recent address by President Biden, the apology that was made, this is a small but significant historical step, apologizing for 150 years of the federal Indian boarding school policy, which created much harm, split families, and continues to cause intergenerational harm and trauma. We also want to note the progress that was made in the last 4 or more years by Secretary of the Interior Deb Haaland, who is the first Native American to occupy any cabinet in the federal government. And that is kind of egregious, but we're so glad for Deb Haaland's service and work. And President Biden said, as we mark Native American Heritage Month, we recognize the contributions of Indigenous people to American history, the first Americans. He also added that Native Americans are the most patriotic Americans, and that they serve 5 times more proportionally in the military than any other single group. And that is a sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice for our country. And I'd like to honor Chickie here today, who has done so much to support veterans in our area. So please welcome Chickie, Red Dawn. You don't have to, but we can hear you better.
That's just me. It's an honor to be here in the presence of all of you. Veterans of this time, all of you. You're all incredible. All your amazing, miraculous work that has made a difference. These precious young people here, you make my heart shine, and you make every star up in the universe shine brighter for all that you do. Just keep on doing, one step at a time. It's amazing. I love you all. Kind of blown away with everything. The wind, the voice in the wind. Hear our prayer. We thank you for this day and this gift of life and all that you have given us. It's an honor to be here, that we can do what we do. Our prayers for our ancestors, those that have came before us. Our prayers for those that have come after us, and those that are going to be that are here now. Hear our prayers. In memory of our code talkers, there were 33. We have 29 Navajo code talkers come in on World War II. We just, one just crossed over 107 years old. We still have 2 remaining code talkers, McDonald and McGay. And it's amazing that they use their special codes to keep our country free. It's amazing that at one time they were not to speak their language, but then when it came to taking care of things, they were asked to speak their language. It's amazing. Amazing. We're holding them all in silence and prayer. Blessings to all of you. Wisdom, blessing, and wisdom to create a love you in all the relations and understanding free people. The rocks, our ancestors, Mother Earth.
Sheridan, everyone.
I'll just say I want to thank everyone for being here today. Obviously, we're blessed with this beautiful day here in Newburyport. It's events like these that just show what a wonderful community we have here and how lucky we are to have that here. And I think Representative Sharon kind of hit it off the head. I mean, we truly in this community, and again, we're a historic sequel, right? We embrace that, but we embrace all the history that comes with that. And I think that's special. I don't know if every community does that. I want to thank all of you for being here today. I think anytime we have kids, students, future leaders be a part of